So Oscar Piastri has won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix this afternoon. I know, spoiler alert, but there's a reason why I'm getting into this straight away, because why are you watching this video if you've not watched the race and you're trying to avoid spoilers? That's on you, my friend. But if you've watched the race and you're wondering how on earth did Oscar Piastri manage to win that? How did he do it? Well, we're going to do an analysis here. We did the same thing after the Italian Grand Prix when Charles Leclerc won that, just kind of explaining, what happened, how did he manage to win the race? And I feel like this is warranted as well for Piastri, because it was it was an incredible drive from him today. 10 out of 10 driver of the day without a doubt, world class. And I'll be doing some more videos kind of going over him as well, because I am so impressed with him. You would never guess with the conduct that he's been showing that he was, almost a rookie driver. This is his second season still in F1. And here he is with 2 victories to his name, a sprint win, a bunch of podiums. He's not that far behind his teammate Lando Norris. He went into this weekend saying that, Piastri is going to help out Norris if he can, and actually Norris helped out Piastri a little bit in this race. But let's have a look. Let's get into the details here and analyze how Oscar Piastri won this race. So Oscar Piastri lined up in second place on the grid today. He was behind Charles Leclerc, who got pole position, a 4th pole position in a row around Baku for Leclerc, and he's still not won the race. That's got to be a record. That has to be a record. Most poles at a track without a victory. Answers on a postcard, but I can't see anybody who's had more than that. But yeah, so Leclerc did very well at the start, kept ahead of him. Piastri was, for the most part, in the very early stages, about 10 laps or so, he was pretty close to Charles Leclerc. However, things started to taper off later in that stint. Now, most drivers pitted around, I think it was about lap 15, something like that, for the hard tyres, that they would eventually go to the end of the race on, that being their sole stop. Everybody today pretty much did a one-stop race. And Leclerc did an incredible job on his medium tyres. Piastri did not do an amazing job on his, though, because by the end of the stint, Leclerc was looking like, I was preparing my, titles and ideas for videos. I often write them down during the race when an idea comes to me, when an incident happens, something like that. I was writing down Charles Leclerc's masterclass in Baku, because he was that far clear. I thought he was going to run away with it. That didn't happen. He was about 8 seconds or so ahead of Piastri by the time that Piastri did his pit stop. Now, there's a few key things of this. So the reason why Piastri was so far behind was because he burned out his medium tyres. He put too much energy through them. He basically drove too hard with them, doing something that he hadn't done for some time now. Now, earlier on in his career, when he was actually a rookie, his tyre wear in particular was poor compared to Lando Norris. Not being a big criticism of the guy, because it's his first season in F1 and Lando Norris is a much more experienced driver. But since then, Piastri, to his credit, has absolutely worked on that to the point now where, for me, today, he showed some of the best tyre conservations with his hard tyres than anybody on the grid. The way he was driving was masterful. Absolute masterclass in my opinion. But getting on to that, so he basically burned out his medium tyres because that he had to stop earlier than Charles Leclerc. This is the second point as well. So he stopped at about 2 or 3 laps, I think, before Leclerc did. That allowed him to get the undercut. Now, I've done a full in-depth video already on what the undercut is in Formula 1, but it's basically when you stop earlier than your opponent, you get fresh tyres on, you use the advantage in performance of those fresh tyres to close the gap and in some cases pass the guy ahead. And incredibly, Piastri actually got pretty much within a second of Leclerc by the time Leclerc came out. Leclerc was on cold tyres. He had to heat up the hard tyres, something that took most drivers a lap to do. Now this is the most critical thing for me really with his victory today, because he managed to pass Charles Leclerc on that next lap, and I think that was his only opportunity to do so, and he took it. He did an absolute lunge and a half on him, and it was a controlled lunge. It was a fantastic move. That is not a criticism. I'm just saying he did a big lunge. He did a big dive bomb on him. Leclerc didn't see it coming. He got out of the way. Piastri was through. An absolutely world-class overtake, something that his compatriot Daniel Ricciardo was famous for earlier in his career. Piastri pulled it off today. And then, on top of that as well, he used the fact that he had clean air so he could preserve his tyres better, and he also did just enough to keep Charles Leclerc behind every lap. He broke the slipstream when he had to. He went onto a defensive line when he had to. He broke early when he had to. He did everything he could. He drove perfectly today to keep Charles Leclerc behind. Charles Leclerc could not pass him. And Charles Leclerc, because he was behind, he ended up burning his hard tyres up. And by the end, Piastri had what would have been a relatively comfortable victory, obviously, even if the safety car didn't come out for the crash between Sainz and Perez. Again, spoiler alert, done a full in-depth video analysing that incident and who is to blame. Check that out if you've not already. It'll be out at the same time as this one is. But yeah, there we go, guys. That's what happened. So basically, Piastri, he kept his hard tyres better. He took the performance advantage from from an undercut and passed Charles Leclerc, and then he just positioned his car perfectly, did exactly what he had to do to keep his opponent behind. There were several factors behind Piastri's win today. I don't think he had the fastest car today. I think that Charles Leclerc's Ferrari was the fastest car today. And it's a reverse, it's an Uno reverse of what happened at Monza, where McLaren, for me, had the fastest car, but Ferrari, through strategy and good driving from Charles Leclerc, won the race. Today, strategy and good driving from Piastri won him the race. I'm loving Formula 1 right now, guys. I'm absolutely loving it, and I can't wait for the Singapore Grand Prix next weekend. I cannot wait for that. But yeah, for much more content in the build-up to that, and much more content when it comes to reacting to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, keep it here to the F1Chronicle.com to see much more video content just like this.